welcome to another episode of the Produce Department. I am your host, Eddie Dynamite, aka Ed Bradley of the Streets. And man, we got another good one for y'all tonight, man. You know how it go. From the heart of Charleston's gritty low country streets, where the piney breeze mixes with the late night city lights, comes a voice both raw and relentless. He's been on the grind, dropping many albums, on stages, built his own label, and now sits at 500,000 streams deep. He spits pain, growth, hustle, and hometown scars. He's a businessman and a wordsmith, a CEO and a storyteller. And tonight we go beyond the bars to uncover the rise and the soul of a Southern artist. Welcome to the show, Tragman. Trag, what's shaking with you? How you doing tonight, brother?
Man, just living life, enjoying, man, being here with another legend as far as yourself, you know what I mean? So,
Appreciate that,
shit, I'm
fam.
just glad to be here, you know what I mean? And I really do appreciate that intro, man. I ain't gonna lie, yo, like, that
Hey,
was fly.
it's real, man. I gotta give props where it's due, brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's take me from the top track. Tell me exactly what part of Charleston you from, and tell me about your childhood and your upbringing, brother.
Basically, you know what I mean? I represent the West to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? Also represent for the Ville. Um, you know what I mean? Pretty much live my majority of my life between the two. Um, a couple little skid bids and Goose Creek and a couple other surrounding areas, but primarily West Ashley and Somerville. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was your neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? How was it around the area during that time?
Basically, regular degular stuff. You know what I'm saying? Back in that time, you know what I mean? It was either sports or you was intermingling with the streets and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I tried my hand in, sports and all that. Like, you know what I mean? I played baseball, football, basketball. Wasn't
Okay.
really good at either one, you know what I mean? So started dibbling and dabbling, you know what I mean, in the streets and then picked up the mic and basically ran with it ever since.
Right. So before we even get into with the mic, um, uh, tell me about what was your first connection to music? What was your first time that you just heard something like? And I mean, not even on a rapping tip or you trying to get into music. Just when you was like, "Hey, was it rap? Was it blues? Was it jazz? What pulled you into music that made you say, "Hey, I like this, bro."
Basically, I grew up in a religious home, so typically
Mm,
for me in the beginning stages, there was a lot of gospel music.
okay.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like Sam Cooke,
Mm,
um,
mm,
Aretha Franklin, and then eventually started hearing a little bit of Otis Redding and those type of artists and stuff like that. And I want to say about 90, maybe 93 was when I first got introduced to music as far as rap, as far as Crisscross and Biggie and Pac and the
right.
normal characters. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Hey, you took me back. You said Chris Cross big as that. Though I had them pictures hanging on my wall coming up. You know what I'm saying? So I
mm,
remember that had me. And I remember when the Chris Cross dropped that. What was it? The Bomb CD. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
The
yep,
Brat and all that. You know what I'm saying? That was they had Super Cat on the shit. It was a classic, man. You know what
yep.
I'm saying? It was a classic.
hmm
We didn't have a
Yeah,
whole lot of brothers from the South, especially young brothers that we could really look up
yeah.
to. You had some OGs in the game, Eight Ball G,
hmm
UGK. But like you said, somebody from coming up from the youth. At that time, it was only a handful. And that was really
Yeah,
hard. Right,
yeah.
right.
You had them illegal,
They're
and
legal.
I want
Right.
to say ABC was around back then too.
Yeah,
But
most definitely. Most
Chris
definitely.
Cross was definitely the stars of that young movement, and they was
Yeah.
the one that really influenced me to want to rap because I was like, shit, they barely look older than me. I was like, shit, if they could do it, I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, most definitely, most definitely. Yeah, that's that's definitely legendary. So at the time, uh when was the first when you when who who inspired, let me put this in the right words, because I don't want to jumble this up. Who really was the first person to say, what I'm saying, did somebody inspire you to pick up the pen? Did listening to those artists inspire you to try your hand at writing rhymes? What was the first time when you was like, man, I'm gonna try my hand in write and putting something together? When was that first experience?
Um, Basically, it was crisscross. You know what I mean? I was the ones that influenced me to try to write on my own. At that point in time, though, I wasn't really too good at it as far as to my standard. You know what I mean? Because I was judging my work based off of what they was doing
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
other artists that I was listening to at the time. So I took a small break from it and got back into it when I got into high school. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
ran into my partner, Below Zero, aka Chills Prince,
Okay.
and at the
Okay.
time when when we linked up, him and Firstborn actually they had like a little competitive thing between their crews and all of that. So
Right. Right.
being that I was on that side, you know what I mean, we used to, battle in the hallways and all that as far as on the mic and you
Hmm.
know what I mean, that's kind of how I built my reputation and my lyrical ability.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
yeah, he brought me in through on the battling tip first, and then I focused on the writing and getting that tight later. You know what I mean? So yeah,
So you were Below Zero. Was it a crew that y'all had, or what was it, or was it just y'all were just anybody who wanted to come and battle, or y'all were just getting together, just doing something, or was it y'all really like something that y'all was putting together, like a crew that y'all putting together?
basically for the most part, he was like a one man army. You know what I mean? But he had a couple of affiliated artists that was like kind of like part of his crew. You know what I mean? Like I know Colors was affiliated with him.
Mm,
Um, there was a couple other people too, but that's the main one that I know that name recognition wise people would know.
right.
And
Right. Out colors, most definitely. Yeah. Right. Yo.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's heavy. I didn't. That's something I didn't know. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. So you started off on the battle side.
yeah, yeah.
Trag, you was like
So
they eating their ass up, Trag.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say I was probably like top four, top five at that time. By the
Yes,
time
sir.
I got to being like by the time I got to be a junior, senior, I was in that top three. You know what I mean? So
Dope, dope, dope. So
yeah.
did y'all have any? I know that was early in the game. Did y'all have any, like, now they got the leagues where they battling, what I'm saying? Did y'all have any leagues, or was it that type of thing, or was it just kind of
Nah, it
free
was
like?
more so. It more so was like a freestyle cipher type scenario where you
Mhm.
come with your best stuff, this guy comes with his best stuff, and then you would battle each other to see who the crowd reacted to, and
Right,
then
right.
eventually it kind of morphed into a more of a smack type
Hmm.
scenario where you actually dissing the competition, but it was all in fun. You know
Right,
what I
of course.
mean? At that point in time, yeah, it wasn't nobody getting socked or nothing like that. No
Hey,
math possible, you know what I mean?
hey, it goes down. What I'm saying? It goes down.
Yes,
Dang,
sir.
that's
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
okay, okay. So what was the first song or verse you remember writing that made you feel like, man, I got something real with this right here, man.
Shit, it was a club song that I wrote back then called "Shake a Little Something" with my dude my God Sensei. He
Mm,
used to rap with Cyclone back in the day. I forget the name of the group they had,
okay.
um but yeah, we did a song called "Shake a Little Something," and when we released it to the people, like we got a real good reaction to it, and it
Mm,
was
mm,
one of my first official like releases. So I said, well, yeah, you know what I mean. If the people feeling it that much, then I must got something, you know what I mean, and just
right,
paying the bill from there, you know.
right, right, right. Most definitely, most definitely. So did you did you take that song? Did you? I mean, did y'all push it? I mean, did y'all go in the studio with it? How did the process go with that? And me asking that question, was that your first experience in the studio recording that?
Yeah, definitely. It was my first experience in the studio.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
it was I forget where that studio was at, but I remember we paid like $200 at the time for like a 8 hour block, and we just
Mm.
went in there, recorded a bunch of tracks. Um, those I want to say those songs made its way to Chuck T, and I was part of his street team for a while. You know what I mean? Before I actually started making progress. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
dope, man, dope. I didn't know that, man. Shout out Chuck T. That's the legend right there. That's the king of the Carolina right there. So
Hell
so
yeah.
so how long did you do this the street team run?
About 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Were you traveling around, or it was just like a local thing? How did you go, or were you going everywhere that he went? How did that go?
Primarily it was a local thing at that point in time. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
um, he was still kind of on the rise at that point. I mean, he had a name and everything. They had already dropped Chucktown Ballers, I think it was the name of the album, with him
Hmm.
and his brothers and them.
Hmm.
Um, but he wasn't officially like the Chuck T we know now. Like I mean, he matter of fact, when I met him, he was still working at Cat's Music at the time. You know what I mean? In
Right.
Somerville doing the thing I did. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So,
That's early in the
yeah,
game. That's early Chuck
yes,
T
sir.
right there.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Most definitely. So were you still putting your music together while you was on the street team, or did you put it to the pause, or you was like, man, I'll get it later, or were you just doing it here and there? How was that?
Yeah, we still was putting out little mixtapes here and there, trying to get the name up and build a reputation up and you know we got pretty good feedback, you know what I mean? But at the time, we myself as well as my rap collective, we didn't really know the game and the business aspect. So we did make a lot of mistakes, but at the same time though, the people felt the music and it
Right.
definitely helped elevate the name and build a certain level of respect or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right. So while you working with Chuck T, while he was learning, you were kind of learning the business as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's dope. I read something, man, that you relocated to Indiana later in your life. What triggered that move, and how did that shift your mindset with the music?
Well, I never really moved out there. But I was affiliated with some artists out there. So,
Okay.
um, salute to them. You know what I mean? COB Indiana.
Hmm.
Those are definitely my brothers. You know what I mean? As far as the whole COB movement.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, I've actually met them through Peter Politician. Matter of fact,
Okay.
he had a radio type show he was doing, and I submitted some music there. They
Hmm.
submitted some music there, and then we just started talking about working together. And like I said, we just built a relationship from there.
Okay.
And we still tight to this day. You know what I mean?
So you did a lot of traveling to Indiana. You went out there quite a few times.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
I one thing about me, if it makes sense, I'm gonna definitely travel. You know what I mean? I like
Got to.
interacting with different crowds and different folks. You know what I mean? Because it helps get the name out there, but it also brings different vibes. You know what I mean? Like a Midwest crowd is different from a Southern crowd. I mean, there is some similarities, but at the same time, there's some differences too. So
Right.
it gets you more seasoned for the game. You know?
And like I always tell y'all, man, y'all know what I'm about to say because I say it every show. This is a
Mhm.
communiversity, man. You know what I mean? It's all about teaching and learning. And you heard what the brother said, Tragman said, man, you gotta travel. You can't just stay in your hood or on this block or that block and think you that's gonna help further you, you know,
Mhm.
further your career, or either further your mind state, or even further you with the music yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Mhm.
travel and get around, like the brother said, meet different people, get new vibes. You know what I'm saying? Find out what's going on here, because what you think might not be going on here, it's a totally different scene. You know what I mean? And it's always
Mhm.
good. I always said it was always good to travel and see other places. You know what I'm saying? That's real dope. That's real dope. So did your music do really good out there? What did you do shows out
Yeah,
there? How was that? Tell me
yeah,
about
yeah.
the Indiana run, man. Tell me how was it?
Indiana run was pretty good, man. The first show I actually did out there was for my brother, Ghost Flows. You know what I mean? He was having his birthday party out there, and I remember bringing my dude Dream with me, and we went out there to do the show. You know what I mean? And the place was packed. You know what I mean? The energy was good. Like before we even touched the mic, like we literally sold out of all the merch we had. You know what I mean? Because while we was doing our thing down here, like they was out there actually, promoting our music to they peoples and they fans. So by the time we showed up, like the whole place was like, "Yo, man, you got something?" Like, "Yo, we want something." So yeah, man, we sold out of our merch. As soon as we came in the building, they bought them all, and we rocked the stage, and they loved the music, and that's one of my biggest hubs to this day, as far as people streaming and buying the music and stuff like that.
All right. So let's talk Geechee commission, man. What's the mission behind the label name, brother?
Basically, Geechee, of course, that's the language, that's the culture, you know what I mean, from the state, you know what I mean, and commission, you know what I mean, it's an organized body, that's pushing for one common goal, you know what I mean, and so that's what birthed that, you know what I mean.
So
All
track
right.
you had to wear all the hats: artist, producer, businessman, and what part of the hustle's been the hardest for you to master out of wearing all those hats?
I would say, that's a good question. I guess I'd probably say being a CEO, just because you got to juggle, what I'm saying, a multitude of egos, um, at the same time trying to be fair and conduct business the way business has to be conducted. So I would say that probably the hardest part, you know what I mean?
Right, 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 right. I can feel you on that. I can definitely
Yeah.
feel you on that. I can definitely feel you on that. So what part of the game uh um that you said because I saw you say something that loyalty and trust is rare in the business. You know what I'm saying? So let's even go to that question. So tell me a moment where, like you said, dealing with people's ego. So what's a moment that you feel like you had to cut somebody off to protect your brand? Give me a situation where something like that went down.
Shoot. Basically, I had this one artist, man, like Cat was talented, you know what I mean? But anytime like a celebrity or somebody that would be perceived, what I mean, to have some sort of authority or power, you know what I mean? Like dog would try to undercut, you know what I mean? Like it ain't gonna get back to me, you know what I mean? But
Right,
these my true peoples that I've known for a long time. So of course they gonna let a brother know what's up.
right, right,
And you know what I mean? Like some people just so thirsty for it, man. They don't know how to play their position, you know what I mean? So
right, right,
yeah.
right. And that's wild. You see that a lot, especially dealing with this music. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
Yeah, dang, dang. So how did that end up turning out? I mean, did you eventually end up just parting ways with them? Y'all still work together? How did that go?
Nah, if you one of them type people, I just kick you out the whip, you know what I mean? So
Right,
I went my way, he went his way, and I
right,
continued to build, and he fell off, you know what I mean? Like a dead leaf, you know what I mean?
right, right, right.
Um, so it is what it is, you know what I mean?
And that's
Some
normally how
people.
it go.
Hmm.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, man. You gotta stay loyal to the cause, man. That's what it's all about.
That's it.
So I also said something if I'm right or wrong that you lost a close friend during your music journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely lost a couple along the way, you know what I mean? RP to Caius Ballard, RP lost, you know what
Mm,
I mean? Yeah, it's been real. It's been real.
right, right. So how did that grief how does that shape you? You know what I'm saying? Shape not just the music, but you yourself as a person.
You know what I mean? It's tough, you know what I mean? Because both of those brothers definitely played a integral part, you know what I mean, into my career and the strides that we were making. So it definitely was a huge loss on both sides of it. But uh basically, you know, you got to keep pushing, keep the dream alive, you know what I mean? Try to keep their memory alive as best you can, and you know, be there for the family whenever you can, and just keep moving on, you know.
Right, right,
uh
right,
that's all you can do, really, you know what I mean.
right, right. Yeah, that work ethic, man. That's a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what that work ethic, man. That's
Hmm.
definitely you got to keep going through that because I had lost myself, so I understand, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I mean,
yeah,
we all have, so like you said, so we got to kind of deal with it the best that we know how to. You know what I'm saying?
that's right,
So
that's right.
so so you mentioned being aggressive by nature. How does that come across in your business and your art, brother?
Basically, I'm coming for what I want, you know what I mean, and I want that, no more, no less, you know what I mean. I'm not a cutthroat, I ain't a grimy person, but at the same time, what I'm saying, if we agree on something, that's what I'm coming for, you know what I mean, and I'm not gonna accept anything less, you know what I mean.
Right,
And because I always learn, you know what I mean, like people, you know what I mean, you get in life what you put in, you know what I mean, and what you go for. And especially in this business, you know what I mean, ain't nobody trying to give you nothing they ain't got obligated to. So yeah, I don't play with none of them out here, you know what I mean.
that's
Yeah,
real. That's real. And you can't, not at all. I'm with that. And you gotta be aggressive in this game. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's
that's
all
right.
about. I always tell them, I said, man, hip hop is a cold bitch, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you don't have it ain't even the heart, the stomach for this. If you ain't got the stomach
no,
for it, man, you ain't gonna stand it, man. You ain't gonna be able to make it, brother. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's real.
So you drop four, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I'm right because I want to make sure I give you your real props. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna
Okay,
go into your creative process. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna make a segue into this. You dropped
okay,
4 albums in 4 years. Is that right? You know what I'm saying?
that's right.
And you plan to release 40 songs over 1 year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I see,
Hmm.
I'm doing my research on you now, brother.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
so, so, Trag, where does that work ethic? Where does that particular work ethic come from? You know what I'm saying? I know you gave us this just a game of how you handle your business, but being able to pump out that much of material at the time when you got brothers, man, and you being a CEO and you being in the lab and you deal with artists, you seen them sometimes it take them boys 6 7 months to do 2 3 songs.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But this type of work ethic, where do you pull this type of drive from and still, because we still got to live and keep doing our other hustles
Yeah.
that we got going on to make to be able to
Hmm.
to pay for a lot of these things. You know what I mean? I just saw a post that you put up about you about to you finally got everything set up where you about to build a lab in the crib, and congratulations too. But that's real talk. You know what I'm saying? You already know how what that takes, the money that take. You know what I'm saying? The type of foundation you got to build with that. So where does this work ethic come from you to be able to drop this much material and be able to promote it in the way you do, brother?
Basically, I really love the craft and what I do, you know what I mean? And I definitely love touching the people. And my biggest inspiration was Tupac, you know what I mean? Just finding out about how he worked and the amount of music that he left behind after you know what I'm saying, he passed and everything. I
Hmm.
was like, man, shit, if I can do at least half of what he was doing, I'll be all right, you know what I mean? So Yeah, so I basically applied that, you know what I mean, especially in the early stages of my career when I first started rapping, just like, yo, we if I ain't got someplace to be, I'm in the lab, you know what I mean, 2, 3 hours at a time, sometimes longer than that. Just depends on the inspiration I had for that particular time, you know what I mean? So
Right, right.
that's how I work, you know. And now I'm years in. I got about, like I said, 4 albums, probably about 20 or 30 different singles out, and at least a good, probably another 10 or 15 or so, maybe 20 features on other people's albums and stuff like that. So I think last time I checked, I'm like over 125
Mm,
songs credit wise. So
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, man. I, I saw I see tracks from you, man. You got some numbers up there, brother. You 22,000,
mhm.
40,000. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, I said you don't see that on the regular now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that type of thing. You know what I mean? With
Mhm.
brothers putting out those type of numbers. I'm gonna put on a little joint right here. I see.
Yeah, that still ain't no fun right there. Yeah, flip that Snoop Dogg on there. You know what I mean?
It ain't no fun if the homies can't have true indeed. Baby boy, yo, I got what you need. Got the white, got the brown, baby, got the weed. And I got a couple hustles, man, to help you get a couple G's. Soldier mentality, player, please believe. No man left behind or ever in the squeeze. I ride for them, they ride for me. That's how it's supposed to be. This is my fam, baby, C.O.B. Salute the big bro, but now you better know it's the king. C.R.O.O. to the K.E.D. Something like the mob, cause we D-double-E-P. Indiana to Charleston, we were while do you beat me? And this is just a taste, dog, of the CD. I want it all, but what's the use of being stingy to your dog? Yeah, that's just some game that I learned from Nate. D-O-double-G-G.
Mm,
It ain't no fun if the homies can't get it. Cadillac pumping, double Dutch puffing, riding through the
that's that's smooth right there, brother. That's smooth. I really
Oh,
like that. So you talking about 22,000 here? Did y'all have that on any like radio airplay? How did that? Because I'm talking about with that type of numbers, y'all did pretty good with that. Did you do any shows with that? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, we did a couple shows, you know what I mean? Indiana, Atlanta, North Carolina,
Mm,
Florida.
dope.
Um, and matter of fact, we were supposed to take it out to Cali and do some work out there, but circumstances didn't permit. But yeah, we definitely been pushing, you know what I mean, with it. Definitely been getting radio play with it. And then word of mouth has actually been helping us out a lot too, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So
Most definitely,
yeah,
definitely. So,
yeah.
so,
That
so when you doing tracks like that, I mean, what's your writing process? I mean, you go off vibes. I mean, how do you do?
normally it start out with the beat, you know what I mean? And then depending on the vibe of the beat, I'll try to do something that'll complement it. With that particular one, it kind of gave me a similar feel to Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean? Like it's something that I would hear him rap on. So I was
Right.
like, let's take the so I was like, yo, let's take the still ain't I mean, let's take the Ain't No Fun record and flip it on some positive, you know, brotherhood, unity type thing, you know what I mean? And let's do it, you know what I mean, for the summertime, you know what I mean? So that was the idea behind it. And then like I said, I went in first, did my verse, and then everybody else built from there, you know what I mean?
Right, 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 right. Yeah. That's pretty dope right there. That's how it goes. So
Yeah.
tracks. I see tracks like COB, RSM, and Hustler Prayer. I see they got different energies. I went through your catalog, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
so tell me, how do you decide whether you make a club banger or to make a prayer, you know what I'm saying, or be in that type of zone? Because you a brother that I've noticed when going through your catalog, you I like you because you're very versatile. You know what I'm saying? You can you know what it takes to when you're building a song to build on these different emotions and these energies. So uh, how do you decide what do you put yourself in a zone before you go in the lab? You say this what I'm gonna do. How do you decide what you're gonna do? You let it come to you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, basically, I just listen to the beats, you know what I mean, and then depending on the vibe it'll give me, I'll kind of have an idea of topic wise what I want to touch on, and
Hmm.
then I'll just play the beat maybe 4 or 5 times, and normally it'll come to me as I'm listening to it as far as the hook, and then once I get the hook, then I just build from there. Um, like COB, Rock Solid, that was basically like an announcement saying, yo, we COB, we align with Rock Solid Music as well. That's an extension of the family.
Mm,
And we just representing, you know what I mean, as far as what we do, you know what I mean? So
right, right.
salute to T Rock too from 36 Mafia,
Mm.
you know.
Your boy D100, nigga. Mr. X, I see you, nigga. What's up? Get your commission, nigga, so we bout that guap. We ghetto boys, nigga, so we rap a lot. We street niggas, so we solid as a rock. And COB your mind, so we control the block. I'm Godzilla, motherfucker, when I stop eating competition, boy, like a gator when he chop. Raps a lot, capital OG like a motherfucking front. Throwing blunts on the front. You can smell it in my clothes like a skunk. Just bump in your trunk, whether you ride, Escalade, or the dunk. Presidential on my wrist, fuck. Call me baby, how a nigga fucking stunt. Discussing take a moves with my G's over brush. Team shining like a bunch of gold fronts. I hear them haters talking junk, but don't run up, little fucking runts. Keep a 30 on me, boy, it's like a month. Ready to kick it off like a motherfucking punk. We heavyweight, pushing heavyweight without a grunt. We steady
Mhm.
rising, boy, while you steady in the sun. Running the game like the boy Forrest Gump. It's COB on mine, what you motherfucking thump. DG commission, nigga, so we bout that guap. We ghetto boys, nigga, so we rap a lot. We street niggas, so we solid as a rock. And COB on mine, so we control the block. DG commission, nigga, so we bout that guap. We ghetto boys, nigga, so we rap a lot. We street niggas, so we solid as a rock. And COB on mine, so we control the block.
It's strictly winning, time to get it out the trenches. More than one way to get it, so we diversify the business. GC logo, stamp that. What a LCL hashtag. Get the bag track. LOLE mad. Went from serving the parks to creating our own. It's like a whole different league. Now we all in the zone. Had to take some patience. We been wild like some Haitians. Had to slow our wolf for a second and get back to the basics. Make it happen. Pop all we need, steady stacking, not invest in fashion. All work, no play, lady, been our only passion. Got anything you need, shit, we still selling CDs, all type of teas and jewelry, shit, who would have believed? No tricks up our sleeve, holler and let us know what you need. Trying to succeed and you qualified and you can't join the team. No country legend, Gishi commission, making all the noise. You can take the boy off the ghetto, but not the ghetto out the boys, huh?
Get your commission, nigga, so we bout that guap. We ghetto boys, nigga, so we rap.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
was
And
that
you was
was a
in there.
different clip.
You was in there like the boss, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That goes back to my question. That's what I'm saying when I'm doing my research. You got these different personas and these energies I see that you can take on, and that's part of even the 48 laws of power tell you that. You gotta reinvent yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta always keep something fresh. That's why these artists that we love, that's why they stayed on top. You know what I mean? You
That's
understand?
right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a little something with even just changing their hair or wearing something different, you know what I mean? Those little
Yeah,
typos just innuendos, you know what I'm saying? Little small things, bro, is just what makes the big difference. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's
that's
real talk.
yeah, real shit, real shit, real shit.
Mhm.
So when you hear your early projects compared to your joints, like that still ain't no fun too. You know what I'm saying? What's the difference? What's the difference in right now with your pen? You know what I'm saying? You feel you got better, or you feel like you personally have matured? Tell me about that.
I would say it's a combination of both. My pen has definitely gotten a lot better.
Hmm.
Um, my mentality is definitely a lot more better, wiser, smarter in the sense of in my earlier works, it was all about street, 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 street. That was pretty much it. That and club records, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
now you got, I still do that, but now I got more knowledge of self, a
Most
lot more
definitely.
experience of just living life, you know what I mean? So my
Hmm.
topic range is a lot more broader now, you know what I mean? Like I got
Right.
records talking about religion,
Hmm. Hmm.
just living everyday life, you know what I mean? The struggle, the pain,
Right.
victory,
Hmm.
shit, defeat, all kind of different stuff. You know what I mean? So like it's just it's a lot more creative and a lot more depth to the conversation versus just I'm this, I'm that, I'm you
Right,
know.
right, right, right. The more braggadocious type things like we do as MCs, right? So let me go to this. Let me go to this next because I this was very interesting. I heard you talk about. I heard you tease about movies, short films, documentaries. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, that type of thing. I see you want to get more into video. So you saying that what stories do you want to tell beyond the rap, dealing with that with those type of stuff?
I want to touch on a little bit everything. I got one movie that I'm almost done writing actually. It's loosely based off of my life, kind of like how 50 Cent had power, you know what I mean, as far
Mm.
as with raising Canaan and all that, which is like kind of loosely based on his life. I got a movie based on mine, as far as not only regular but also within the music industry and how you know what I mean. Sometimes the people that you start with, for whatever reason, may not necessarily be the people that you end up with. You know what I mean. In the end, you
Right.
know what I
Oh,
mean.
that's real.
And so I got that. I got some other stuff, deeper stuff, you know what I mean, as far as like dealing with cancer, you know what I mean,
Mm, mm,
involves documentaries and different stuff, you know what I mean, just because I want to be everything, you know what I mean, as far as like I want everybody to be relate to me in some way, shape, or fashion. So I try to give people a little bit of everything, you know what I mean. If you don't like chicken, you can try this turkey over here. If you don't like that, we got fish for you. If you don't like the fish, then hey, we got some lettuce and carrots over here. You know, so just
right,
try to be a little bit of everything for everybody, you know.
right. Yeah, that's dope. You got to do. You got to have that gumbo, man. A little bit for everybody. You know, I like that answer, man. I like that.
Hmm.
So, so, um, so you spoke about almost building a cult following, people that love pain, street wisdom, and real lyrics. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
how do you serve that type of audience without chasing trends? You know what I'm saying?
Basically, I just play my role. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm a above 30-year-old man. You know what I mean? So I
Right,
try to cater to the people that I feel like can relate to me, but at the same time, I keep it 100% real within the music so that, you know what I mean, there's something in there that you can relate to, whether you 13, whether you're 18, whether you're 65, like just, you know what I mean, I feel like if you keep it real, keep it 100 and you make quality music, you know what I mean, the people will come and they'll definitely love and support it. And up to this point it's definitely been doing me good, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to hear me rap on too many um drill beats and stuff like that. Like no knock to those type of genres or that music, but
right.
like I don't think my kids would want to see me rapping on songs that their favorite rappers rapping on. You know what I mean? Now, if they call for a feature, I'll definitely do it. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna chase that acceptance. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
that's the difference approach that I take versus a lot of other artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That make a lot of sense
Mhm.
to me. You know what I'm saying? More mature type of vibe. So I saw
Mhm.
you. I just saw you post something. Not it might not have been recent. I know it may have been maybe a few months ago about you winning some more awards. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell us about these awards that I seen you win with these iTunes plaques and these things I see.
Yeah.
Take us about that experience. Tell us about that.
Yeah, basically, you put out your music and as the fans, they support it, they stream it and vibe with it. Sometimes if you get the momentum, it'll it'll chart, you know what I mean? And so what happens is once your song charts, you'll get like a notification from either your distributor or if you're also registered with the people that monitor the music, they'll notify you and be like, hey, um, still ain't no fun. This went number one on the charts in the USA or England or wherever the hell it go at, you know what I mean? And then in return, they mail you a plaque, you know what I mean, with your certification and everything like that. So
Mm,
yeah, I got about 10 now,
mm,
10,
mm.
10 certified plaques.
That's dope. That's dope right there. Track 10 certified plaques.
Yeah, man. Like I got two number ones, two number fours, 111, 114, a 94, and I forget where the other one's at, but I know they up there.
Mm,
Yeah, I got one from Spotify. I think it's eight from iTunes, one on Spotify, and one on Amazon.
pop that shit, track. Real. I like that.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that. That's real. That's real. So, uh,
Mhm.
um, is this accumulated amongst how long did it take you to get there? Was it a lot of years or was it only a few years? How long in between were you getting all of these plaques?
Though this has been over the past 4 years, you know what I mean,
Mm, mm,
of
mm,
doing it. So yeah, it's been a long journey, you know what I mean. But like I said, this past 4 or 5 years, I really was able to actually learn the business very well, and then also build a solid team around me, you know what I mean, that I could work with, that I could count on, that I could support, and
mhm.
that would support me. And like I said, we just put it all together, been pushing, and the people been respecting it and loving it. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah.
Right, right, right. So do you have a big team now of a lot of do you have a lot of artists that are under you on your label?
Yeah, I got you know what I mean, as far as home team, I got Dream Ray Lee, I got um my boy, your boy D100, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
who was on the Silver
Track
Rock Solid song.
right,
I
right.
got Ten Toe Slim G, which is an affiliated artist with the movement as well.
Mm,
Salute to him and the whole team over there, you know what I mean? And then I got my Indiana brothers from you know what I'm saying, Ghost Flows, Kyle Killett, OG Classic Jones,
mm, mm.
um, and everything. It's just a blessing
Right,
to have, like-minded people that's willing to work and really taking it serious, you know what I mean?
right, right,
And
right. Most definitely. Right, yeah, and because it's hard to build a good team, man. Because I know you probably went through a lot of people, before you probably
yeah,
got your main
yeah.
brothers that you're dealing with now. Any females? Did I see you just drop something with the Scandalous or something that you dropped a new track or something with her or something like that?
Um, it's like trying to think. Well, I mean, as far as the official team, I don't have any like direct artists on the label right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but I've worked with a bunch. Like I mean, I think me and Pepe La Prada probably got about 5 or 6 songs together.
Okay, okay, okay.
Um, me and um, me and Ratchet Princess got about 6 or 7 songs.
Okay, right. I
Um,
think that's why I saw you at Ratchet
yeah,
Princess. Right, right. That might have been
yeah,
what I saw
yeah.
too. Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We got a joint album coming out next month.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what
called
I saw you.
Married to the Game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got seven records on there as far as with us, and then I got three bonus records on there with some
Mhm.
other artists and stuff like that. So yeah,
Most
it's gonna be
definitely.
pretty dope.
And shout out
Hmm.
them sisters, man. You know, they working doing their thing. You know what I mean? I love it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just stays
Yeah.
you. We always got to have that balance with the women in the game. You know.
Yes, sir.
So was it? Is it anybody in that crew that's a stand like your artist that you got now? Just and not playing favorites, you know what I'm saying? But anybody that's like the standout artist that you like, you know what, this might be the brother that we gonna push. You know what I'm saying? The first man.
Um, I mean, if I had to pick one to push for sure,
Hmm.
uh, it would have to be a flip between uh Ghost Flows
Mm,
and I would have to say him, either him or OG Classic. The
mm.
both of them guys, they dope at what they do, and at the
Right,
same time, like they very versatile as far as what they can talk about, just like how I am. You know what I mean? But just on
right,
a,
right.
I would just say with them, it's just on a more creative level. Like especially with my dude Ghost Flows, like this cat literally did a song. I don't know if he was rap like singing in like Swahili or something, but it was some like African chant type thing, man. I was like, yo, that's different, and it was dope too. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Called me, I think it was called Mia Sakosa or something like that, which means
Mm.
I love you or something. Man. It was some foreign stuff, but I was like, yo, that's dope.
That's dope. Yeah, that's something different. I never heard that. That's cold. That's cold. That's
Yeah,
cold.
yeah,
Yeah, we got a lot of these brothers doing. You sometimes you gotta step outside the box, man. You know what I'm saying? You trying to get somebody to get that ear on you. You know, you got to do something different. There's
yeah,
sometimes that be the main thing that people say. Oh, that sound is like the last man, or he sound like him, or
yeah,
they doing the same thing. You know, so just like me
right.
and you went back before, you gotta just talking just like
Mhm,
yourself. You got to reinvent yourself. You got to be able to
right.
change those characters, switch those hats out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Real
word,
talk.
word, word, word. That's good. That's real. That's real. That's real. That's real raw, man. You handling your business like a real CEO, brother. You know what I'm saying? I see you got everything lined up. You know what I mean? And look like they'll be good under your leadership. You know what I mean? So and the most important thing that I see about you is, and as I go through and going through your page and just checking out your background, you you business minded to the point where you got everything together. You know, you got your publishing stuff together, you got your distribution together. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And those are really the most important tools that we got to use when you're in the game, especially when you
Yes, sir.
because I don't like to hear when they say, what's the word they like to say? Oh, nah, it's 90% business, 10% talent. Yeah, I mean to a
Mhm.
certain extent when you're dealing with business, but you still gotta have some kind of something to push. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't go in there with nothing, you know what I mean? You gotta, we know it's majority business, but you still gotta have something to push. So to me, like I said, I love your movement, bro. I like what you got going on, man. I see the numbers. Your brother is actually putting up numbers. It ain't just talking. And
Mhm.
and you a humble brother. You moving almost to me. Like I said, when I saw this, I was surprised. Like I was like, not that's not because of the music wise, but because you don't see a whole lot of brothers in our area that's pumping those type of numbers. You talk, like I said,
Mhm.
20,000, 30,000, 40,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Even just you see brothers with 10,000. I mean, that's an accomplishment. But when you go
Yes,
on
sir.
that level, that's major, bro. So is it to the point where you seeing any monetary gain from these social media?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Mm, mm,
Every, I would say every distribution platform, we making some sort of money from it. You know what I mean?
bro, that's
And I
right.
remember when I first started, like, only thing I was seeing really any money from was Spotify. You know what I mean? But now, iTunes done definitely picked up a lot. I done
Mm,
made a nice little chunk of change off of there.
mm,
Shazam, um,
mm.
iTunes, everything, man. Like pretty much
Shazam.
iHeartRadio, all it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So how you working Shazam? Well, what's the deal? I've never, you the first one I ever heard something about Shazam. Say something about Shazam.
Yeah, basically, when you put your music up, I mean, they give you different distribution places where you can put it up or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I put it up there, but like I said, I never really knew how to work it or how to do anything with it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, the people, I'm assuming they must know my name and they just like that particular platform. You know what I mean? And so
Mm.
it
Very.
went from it went from maybe averaging about 10 streams, maybe a day or two,
Hmm.
to now it's like hundreds of thousands of streams over there, and
Mm.
people actually liking it too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so it just was a accumulation over time. I'm assuming that, the people will just like the music and then they just particularly like that particular platform. So it
Mm.
just started building. Like, even Deezer, like, I get a nice little bit of streams over there, and I don't know, outside of knowing the name, I don't know nothing about it, but
Right.
the people like it over there though, you know what I mean?
You
So
just you when you was putting together, you just joined every platform that you could find.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because
smart. That's
because you
smart.
never know you never know what the people might like. So I mean, anything that I can get my music on, I'ma definitely jump on it and try to push it to the best of my ability if I can understand it, and we go from there, you know?
Right, right, right. That's smart. That's very smart right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a smart tool. So like you touching everything. Are you getting monetary gain from every platform, or
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
certain ones? Oh, you getting from
yeah,
everyone? Oh,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
major, Charlie. That's major.
yeah. That's right.
So
It's
I'm sorry. You
it's
seen
out
like
of I want to say about out of 50, I think it's
mm-hmm.
like 50 or 60 platforms. I'm getting at least 30 of them that I'm making some sort of money and revenue from.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm, 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 mm. Dope. That's dope right there, brother. That's
what's
dope.
up?
That's dope. That's major. Because you don't got no, I mean, like I said, you brothers do a lot of talking, but you know what I'm saying? Is the
Mhm.
proof is in the numbers. You know what I mean? You
Yes,
know,
sir.
that guy had just had Kilo the villain on, man, for a show or two ago, and he was saying the same thing. You know, it's about the numbers. They can talk all the rest of this flashy, flamboyant bullshit, but it comes down
Mhm.
to when we go down to the numbers, who's selling units and who making money off the
Yeah,
shit, and who
real
just
talk.
doing it for their homeboys or just doing it for the
Yeah,
hood, for the neighborhood. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's major. I love to hear that. That gives inspiration and motivation to brothers and people who down talk, because you got a lot of people who down talk brothers who want to be
Mhm.
rappers. I know we know it's a flood or a bunch of young brothers that want to be rappers, or and everybody say, oh, why you don't want to go to college, why don't you do this? Well, you got to realize this one thing too. A lot of these young brothers, they coming from areas of poverty. You know what I'm saying? So they
Mhm.
looking at what are they seeing from the young rappers from that we see mainstream? They turning these young
Mhm.
rappers, they becoming millionaires. You know what I'm saying? You know what I
Real
mean? And
talk.
they want to have that same influence, and they want to have that same money, and they want to be able to do the same things that those brothers do. So they not seeing a whole lot of what they know is doctors and lawyers out here. We all know that. But are we seeing that
Mhm.
in our daily? Is that put in our face? No, that's not being our. Maybe that's something that, and I feel that's something that we need to do. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
saying not, and not taking nothing away from even the rappers during this time, because we still gotta, if a brother feel inspired to make the music, I feel to make the music because it's in us. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what story somebody gotta tell, because that's
Mhm.
inevitable. That's what we are. We storytellers, we griots. That's our goal, that's our job, you know. So with these young brothers, um like I said, we see an influx of young brothers that want to do that. But one thing I also see is an influx of older people or haters. You know what I'm saying? And from different segments of the group. You sometimes you got uh
Mhm.
um uh the women might telling the guys, "Oh, get off your ass! You ain't trying to do that rap shit. You need to be getting a job." Blah, blah, blah. We know that
Mhm.
aspect of it, but we also miss the aspect of the young kids that's coming up in high school and their parents tell them, man, well, you need to find something else to do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I heard stories of inspirational stories like a baby Breeze, like he said, his moms them took him to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean, had him in Twin D, you know what I mean, just putting the work behind him, gave him that first Casio keyboards, and like my mom's, my mom gave me
Yeah.
a keyboard, you know what I'm saying? She always pushed me, you know what I mean, and motivated me with the music. Me and my little brother and making songs, so off the little recording off little Mickey
Real
Mouse
talk.
keyboard, you know what I'm saying, recorder, going in there spitting them back to her, you know what I'm saying? So that those type of things, you need that inspiration, especially with our kids, So
Mm-hmm.
that that right there is a major thing. That's why I like the harp on the communiversity thing, because I want the brothers to feel motivated from what they see. Don't always feel downtrodden because somebody telling you you don't need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. Well, that's because they don't want to do. They don't got no other hobbies. They want to
Mm-hmm.
be just running their regular, like you said, or their
Yeah.
regular life. That's them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that ain't you. So
Real
you
talk.
can't fall in. Don't fall into the trigger. And it don't matter if it's your parents, your lady, your friends, bro. Just do what y'all want to do. Stay motivated. You know what I'm saying? Listen to these stories that we tell them. I ain't doing this podcast to try to build no money or get no bunch of extra shit on the background. My number one thing is to teach the young brothers and to teach the people and to hear the stories, because sometimes when we bring and our local, I don't even say local artists, I like to call it just our national artists that's live in our area, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I like to put it, because these are our national artists, because all our brothers, you touching national joints like the next man, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
our national brothers in our area that's making like real power moves, they need to be highlighted. They need to be known. These stories need to be known, not just from going to these podcasts. Because I told Skinny Gray, you know what I'm saying, I
Yeah.
did a show with him, and I told him, I said, man, I watched a lot of these podcasts, and my thing that turned me off was the questions they were asked. I said, man, I want to know more. I want to know you from your, just like we talked about tonight. I want to know you from your start. Where did that come from? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where was your environment at the time? Because that molds a person. You know what I mean? And a
Yeah.
lot of people that's watching these shows, they going through the same experiences. So when they hear that, they're like, you know what, should they, bro, going, oh, I know, bro, or I
Mm-hmm.
know somebody like him, or I'm in that type of same scenario. You know what I mean? So
So.
it's very important, man. And like I said, stories like yours and the movement that you're making, bro, is very important. And you need to be highlighted, and people need to know this, because like me, a lot of it was new. I knew your music, and I know you because you've been out there for a long time. But
Mm-hmm.
to know those numbers, when I went and really did my research, I was like, man, this brother here, man, he making moves, man. He ain't about no games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He got these
Yeah.
plaques, you know what I'm saying? And you still steady making moves, you know what I'm saying? Like I just said, you just posted the joint. You're like, man, I'm where I'm at with the studio. Now I'm gonna take my shit to the next level. So we're gonna constantly see a move. It's always about constant elevation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like I said, and we appreciate you, Trag. We appreciate the music that you bring. We appreciate the grind that you put in through the years. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's all to be appreciated, bro. And I appreciate you for coming to bless the platform, bro, with your presence. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. Like it's an honor to be here. Like I said, you definitely been putting on for the city yourself for a long time, as far as DJing and doing other stuff, podcasting.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
definitely want to be part of, what I'm saying, other legendary stuff. You feel me? So to be here is an honor and a privilege.
Yes, sir.
Um, Definitely got to give a big salute to Steve Breeze too, because he's
Oh,
another one that actually got plaques too and shit like that. Like,
oh yeah.
you know what I
Oh yeah.
mean? I think he got the Billboard joint, you know what I mean? Which is something I'm trying to get hopefully with my next release and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yes, sir.
man, like it just makes my heart feel good, man, because like I said, um I peeped the one you did with all them brothers, but the main one I remember was when you had Mega Bucks up here, you know what I mean?
All right. Right. Yeah.
And
Most
the
definitely.
old number. So,
Mhm.
I was like, man, to be in the mix of them cats, man, who also been putting it down for a minute too,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
legends in their own right, you know what I mean? I felt
Sure.
like it's
Yes,
only right, you know. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's great. And I just had Breeze on last night, and I didn't even they'll be yeah, I'll be debuting that probably just coming up pretty soon. They'll see that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, but like you said, man, Breeze, it got like I said, story to tell, and you see brothers with those billboard plaques sitting in there, and when we in our town in our state, you know what I mean, and you don't even know right under your nose, this brother's making
Real
moves.
talk.
So y'all stop saying ain't nobody doing that. This brother's doing stuff. It may
Yeah.
not be on a scale that you may not think is major, or you don't know what's in the works. But stop saying that. Let's stop bad mouthing ourselves. Let's say we making moves, and we on a path
Yeah.
to make better moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Real
so
talk.
so coming to a close. Let me ask you a question, track man, a very important question. When it's all said and done, what's the legacy of track man?
Uh, I would say the legacy of Tragman would be, um, I guess it would be the basically, man, an artist who came into the game, you know what I mean, literally ground floor, um, had a dream and a goal to impact the world, to make create his own history within the game, and to try to elevate other artists at the same time while doing it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I've done that. You know what I mean? Through hard work, determination, um, studying the business. You know what I mean? Because not only did I study rappers to try to get better, but I would study a Irv Gotti or a Suge Knight or Master P and learn different aspects of the business too. You know what I mean? And then so, learning that aspect, then going into releasing my own projects and, you know, building up a fan base where I can get these plaques and stuff like that. So that way, 10, 20, 30 years from now, when they talking about this SC hip hop foundation, that history, you know what I mean? Like I'll be there, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you know, it's solidified, you know what I mean? Like, and then at the same time, you know what I mean, elevating other artists and then bringing other artists with me. Like I wasn't selfish with it, you know what I mean? Like I got songs with, far as the home team, like I said, Pepe La Prada, Ratchet Princess, Mega Bucks, OSB.
Hmm.
Um, shit, it's a bunch, at least about 30 different artists from the city I done worked with, collab with. Hezzy the Kid's another one I worked with. Lady Slim. Shit, it's a bunch of them. I ain't gonna lie, too many to name. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you know, I've done it. You know what I mean? At the same time, I've worked with artists that I grew up with that I'm able to call on the phone. You know what I mean? Like UNLV, like a T Rock, the Chat, um, Nutso from the West Coast.
Right. Right.
Yuck Mouth, King
Mm,
Crooked.
mm,
Like to be able to chop it up with them and actually got songs that'll probably outlive me, you know what I mean, with them and stuff like that. Like it's an honor and a privilege, you know what I mean?
right. Right.
So and to be blessed to make money off what you love. Like that's another great thing. Like, you know what I
Come on,
mean? Because
talk about it.
how many people actually get to get paid and do it and at the same time do something that you want to do? You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's not
Right.
it's not it's not every day you get to do that. So for when you are able to do that, it's a good feeling. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Most definitely. That's real. That's real. That's real. And I appreciate that response, because that was really that was a great response, Trey. And like I
Mm.
said, I appreciate you coming to the show, man. You dropped heavy game tonight. You know what I'm saying? We learned a lot about you. You know what I'm saying? Hope later on in the you're a very, very intelligent brother, big businessman. You know what I'm saying? I hope later on in the future, man, I can call you down, man. Come through, we can chop it up again. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Definitely.
some little lessons. You know what I'm saying? You can give us some pointers, man. How you made a lot of these moves happen. You know what I'm saying? So we can, teach these brothers to try to, you know what I mean, give them some games so they can try to do the same things that you're doing. You know what I mean? Long as the music good like yours. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But
definitely. We could definitely do that. I would love to be honest with you because I wish I had this type of knowledge when I was starting out. Because like I
right,
said, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning
me too.
because I ain't really know the business. But
Right,
like I
right,
said, luckily everything went around 360. You know what I mean? And
right.
from me linking back up with Chuck T and him having his music class, and then from there going online and learning a lot of different stuff, just a lot of different things. You know what I mean? That help elevate me to where I am now. You know what I mean? So
Right, most definitely. That's dope. Yeah, and that's dope shit. That's real. That's real. That's real. And like I
okay.
said, like we always do on this show, brother. I'm gonna give you the last word, family.
All right. Basically, the last words I'm gonna give them is, if this is what you want to do as far as this music thing, you know what I mean, study your craft, get you a budget together, get you a game plan, and stick to that plan to the best of your ability. And hopefully we see you at the top. You know what I mean? Because it's a struggle. It is a game, but at the same time, it's possible. I'm living proof of that. You know what I mean? Dynamite's proof of that. You know what I mean? Chuck T's proof of that. It's a lot of us that's been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Making moves out here, building a legacy out here. So for all you youngins out there, do it. You know what I mean? Sky's the limit.
And you heard them straight from the man's mouth, man. And we appreciate y'all for checking us out. You already know what it is, man. Peace
Yeah.
out. Have a good night, man.
All right.